Lovers, it's AmphibianBoss here, and today I'm going to be doing a Reptile Amphibian room tour for February 2017. I'm going to do this as my beginning of the year tour because last time I saw you guys was the CRBE, and a lot has changed since then. A lot of new stuff, a lot of new setups, a lot of new animals, a lot of cool things going on, so I'd like to show you guys that today. And I also wanted to ask if you guys want to just leave some questions in the description or in the comment section below. I want to see your feedback, see if you guys are happy to see me back, ask what's been going on, and if you have any ideas for videos in the future, if you want to see some care videos or some setup tutorials, I can definitely do that for you guys. So let's get started. So I'd like to start off with one of my favorite setups. This is my male fire salamanders tank. He's been doing great. The plants so far, I would suggest getting plants for any type of salamander, especially big guys like him, to get things that are durable, such as pothos. I don't know what this grass plant is, but they're quite durable. I had baby tears in here, completely wrecked them. They like to do their burrowing and digging, hiding and whatnot. So having a plant that is quite durable is great for this type of setup. I have it basically just a basic, easy takedown planted terrarium. It's a 20-gallon long, so it's kind of short, but it has lots of space for him to walk around and hide. I have a few hiding spaces, one in the center here, one to the right, and then I have another one right past the pothos. I just transplanted the pothos. The pothos is actually doing great. I transplanted it about 2 weeks ago, and it's doing pretty good. I just have them on Eco Earth with a drainage layer. Eco Earth is decently okay for growing plants. Those hardy plants is okay. And it doesn't hold as much mold, and I'm not afraid of him getting impacted or anything. I had fruit fly problems with my old substrate. It was a cheaper substrate that was left outside. So this came from a brick, so I don't have to worry about any insects. That's basically it for this tank. Really good amphibian to start out with. Maybe not the best starter. I'd suggest some other amphibians or reptiles to start out with, but definitely not an experienced keeping amphibian. They're actually quite easy to keep as long as you keep the temperature cool and make sure they're eating, have the right hiding places, and it's moist enough in their tank. They thrive. So this here is my Mississippi mud turtle tank. It's also a 20-gallon long. Equivalently, I think it's like 80 liters, but that doesn't seem right. I bought it offline. It was just a good deal. Well, I bought it through the pet store offline, but it's a really good deal. I got this. Like normally these types of tanks are like around $100 or more. I got it for 40, I think. Like I got a really good deal on it. It's a good size for him to start out with. I've been growing him up in this tank. It's good to keep a little bit of fish in here, and it came with some cool basking docks as well. It came with 2. I don't think you need to have 2, and I wish they had a little higher of a basking dock, but this isn't too bad. I just have it set up with some hides. I had an air stone in here for the fish. Just turned it off because it was noisy and it was just bugging me. So I guess I should talk about the turtle a little bit more. Here is my little Mississippi mud turtle. I don't have a name for him or her yet. I'm having a hard time seeing what sex it is. If you guys can help me out, I'll maybe take some pictures and post them on my Instagram, and then you guys can let me know if any of you guys are turtle experts. I'd really like to breed these guys, not just for the financial reasons that they are worth money. Every hatchling's worth like $200 in Canada, and I'd like to even lower the prices because they are good turtles to have, and I'd prefer lots of people to have mud musk turtles. So lowering the price allows more people to buy them and afford them. and have larger tanks because they can spend the extra money on larger tanks. It's nothing really special. It's just a bare bottom with 2 filters so I can keep this tank nice and clean and spotless. He or she likes to hide a lot, so doesn't do a lot of swimming around when I have the camera out, but when I feed, everybody in here is very ferocious. I have 2 rosy reds in here, and they're from a separate project that I finished, and I'll show you that to you guys later. And then I have, I think, 8 Whitecloud Minnows. These are really good fish for starters. I bought these as feeders for 22 cents each, and they're really small. They're probably like a 1/4 inch or shorter when I first got them, and they've all grown up really quickly because I feed them a high protein diet, and which is turtle food, and they really grow quickly. So they're really good. I think maybe a few got eaten by the turtle, but once they get big, fast, and strong, the turtle can't catch up with. Here's my little sweetheart. I love this girl. This is Penelope, my leopard gecko. I thought she wasn't gonna come out. I didn't want to bug her and try and pull her out of her hide, so I decided I'd just bribe her with a super worm. I think she's going back in the shed because she's lightening up on her color. I'll get her another super worm so she stays out. Come on, Penelope. I don't think she's interested as much today. She kind of wants to go to bed. I normally don't keep a light on her. But just for your show purposes, I wanted to show her to you. She's not super vibrant today. There's been a lot of times where people come to check out the reptiles and she just shed. So like her color is super bright. She looks really good. I have no idea what morph she is. A lot of people have given me some ideas and I've forgotten them. But I don't really care. I love her. She's really nice. I normally don't keep a light on her. It's just for you guys. I'll take that off in a bit. She usually comes out. I feed her some crickets, like a dozen crickets a week and a couple super worms just because she likes them. So she stays nice and fat. I basically spray her hide box every single day to make sure it stays humid and she still loses the tips of her toes. If you guys have any ideas for that, maybe I'm keeping the entire tank too dry, or maybe my house is too dry this winter just because it's cold out. So we throw the furnace on and dries out the house a bit. But if you guys have any ideas for making sure that her shed comes off completely clean, I'd like some ideas. So in this 10 gallon here, I have my 2 Fire-Bellied toads and my white street frog. You've all seen Freddy before. This is my fat little Fire-Bellied toad here. Just fed them yesterday. Nice, chunky, and colorful. It's very good. I hope you've all seen Freddy before. He's at the back. If you're new viewers, you can check him out on my Instagram. I'll put that link in the description below, and it's also linked in my YouTube channel if I never get to it. So you guys can check that out. Oh, they're hiding. Like always. But they're just Fire-Bellied toads, and this is also bacteria farm down there on that sponge. And all this pothos grows super quick, like new growth almost every week. Like I've got a new sprout in the center there. Got some new sprouts on this edge here by the filter. All this rooting here as well on the wood. A little bit of new rooting down here, but some of it's starting to die. You can see. But other than that, like, this is really good. This filter's got a ton of bacteria in it, so I could throw this filter or this sponge in any tank and have it immediately cycled in a week. Lots of pothos for growing out tanks. And I'd like to do a planted tank with all pothos, or do some type of tank, maybe aquarium, with the top is all pothos, growing around the top. So open canopy. That'd be really nice. But yeah, this tank's doing really good. Fire-Bellied toads are great pets for anybody to start out with. They're easy, cheap. You can keep them in a small enclosure as well. So they're doing great. Let's get on to the next tank. So this here is one of my favorite tanks. It's a 10 gallon I set up a few months ago. Definitely before Christmas, I believe. Just with the intentions of having it for my Fire-Bellied newt. And then ended up getting 2 guppies and having one of those guppies die, and then going and buying more guppies, and then having success with those guppies, and then buying crayfish, and then buying more fish, and buying more plants. and it's turned into an amazing aquarium. It's absolutely great. If you want to have a nice 10-gallon aquarium for your kid or for your office or for your desk, even just to have a 10-gallon to see what you can do with it, because they're really cheap to start. You can do anything with a 10-gallon. Do it this way, because guppies are cheap. Guppies thrive in a tank with lots of algae and any temperature, inexpensive. They breed. I have a few fry in here. A lot of the fry, if you want to see the next fish, which is awesome, they've been eaten by my other fish and my newt and everything, and the adults. But I have a few here. I'm planning on getting rid of the guppies soon, because I actually have my newt, which she can be a little aggressive. I don't know what I think she's messing with one of my dwarf crayfish here. They're awesome. I have 3 of them. And then I also have a Senegal bicher back here. He's just a little guy. I think he ate most of my fry, but that's okay. I'm planning on keeping him with my turtle later on. If you guys don't think it's a good idea, definitely let me know. I'll find a tank for him, because I'm not just going to get rid of it. He's only a few inches long. He's basically the same length as my newt. So she is the boss, my newt. Senegal bicher just kind of chills. Everyone gets along great. So yeah, this tank is awesome. The nitrogen, I'm sure, was going okay. And I don't put CO2 in this tank. If I did, these plants would flourish, but they're doing great so far. Actually had some break off, and I planted them down here, and they're actually growing. So hopefully this tank does good. Sooner or later I'm going to rip it apart, and it's a shame because it's such a nice tank. But yeah, if you guys are looking for any tanks and you want to do a nice 10-gallon up for anything, I would just definitely suggest guppies. And if you want to keep newts as well, the newts are awesome. I've had her for almost 4 years, and she's great. I love her. She spawned for me. I've got success out of those. I've lost the male and the other female, unfortunately. But she's super hardy. She's great. And I can't find any more Fire-Bellied newts around, so she's just a rare little pick, and I love her to bits. She's awesome. And everybody else in this tank treats her good because she's the boss. So that's my new fish tank. I'm just feeding them newt pellets here. They do great on newt pellets. I feed them some cichlid pellets as well, just to keep them with their omnivorous diet. But I fed just to make sure that the bicher and my newt would come out and feed. So you guys want to see her feeding? I'll get some footage of her. So last but not least, we have my brother's little axolotl. We used to have 2 of these, but unfortunately we lost one. But this is our little albino one. Or actually not albino, leucistic to be correct. He's great. His name's Burrito. We figured out a good way to keep the water quality pristine. We've got a canister filter up there running good, and then we also have a sponge filter that's running okay. And I just made this sponge filter cheaply. That's another thing about sponge filters. Sponge filters can be made very easily. Like, I didn't spend any money on this. I guess I bought the sponges, but you could probably make 3 sponge filters out of a whole package of sponges for $1. So he's doing great. It's not anything special. We kind of want to get a goldfish in here, which would be sweet. Just keeping him in a 20-gallon long, feeding him bloodworms, turtle pellets, and newt pellets. Just doing our thing. So he's doing great, and that's our last little amphibian to show you guys today.